Hello and welcome to Admit One, your movie and TV podcast right here on Rabbit Hole Media. I am one of your hosts, Jack Netley Thompson, and as always and as usual for this series, I am joined by one Kristian Lasham.
Hello.
Hi. How the devil are you?
Adequate.
Me as well. This is Admit One, your movie and TV podcast right here on Rabbit Hole Media. If you like what you're doing and what you're doing is watching us, you can follow us on Twitter at rabbithole_UK. You can subscribe to us on YouTube where you can see us anytime that you wish. You can follow us on Twitch at Rabbit Hole Media. And you can subscribe and follow multiple different podcast services on and around the internet, but not really.
Indeed.
And no. You can follow us on Instagram at rabbithole_media_UK. You can follow us on TikTok at rabbithole_media for behind the scenes tits and bits. If you'd like to support us, head to merch.rabbithole_media.co.uk for a wide range of merchandise. Oh, fucking hell. If you'd like to support us, head to merch.rabbithole_media.co.uk for a wide range of merchandise that recently got wider. And finally, if you are watching us live on Twitch, like all one of you are, and an Amazon Prime user, you get one free Twitch Prime membership a month. Please find it within your hearts to give that membership to us. It doesn't cost you a penny, but goes a very long way into helping us bring you the shows that you love. And Kristian has just broken the chair.
These chairs are awful.
They do have a habit of the pin to just pop out.
Yeah.
And you just fall backwards to your imminent demise.
Yes.
And life flashes before your eyes.
Substantially better than the canvas chairs we had in the shed, though.
The one that I broke.
Yeah.
Literally broke.
Yeah. So these are fine. These are fine for now.
Yeah, exactly. We'll spend like £600 on a chair when that wouldn't utterly ruin the both of us financially and spiritually, I think. Today we are here to talk about Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, fourth in the series, released in 2011. We've had a new game released for the first time in God knows how long. There was
not just a new game, a really well-reviewed game, really well-received game so far. So one that could have a lot to talk about. Even if our opinions differ, still arguably a good conversation point.
Potentially. Although entirely irrelevant to what I was saying.
I'm sorry.
New game released for the first time in God knows how, because I don't think we've had actually a game come out since June.
Probably.
One worth anyone's time, anyway. Ratchet, right?
Yeah.
That's probably the last one. Yeah, June. That's a long time. Also, there was lots of things more relevant to me than anything. Well, with the Apple event, I don't know what's gone on with that. But no, we're here to talk about a 10-year-old movie instead. What are your general thoughts of Ghost Protocol?
So as always, I feel like I need to preface my thoughts with I've not seen these films before. The only one I'd seen is Mission Impossible Fallout, so I'm watching through them for the first time and watching blind. I am finding this as I go along. So far, this has been my favourite in my watch through. Really, really liked this film. I enjoyed that it seemed to... For me, I feel like this film finds the right balance between cheesy spy movie with enough sort of serious edge to it, if that kind of makes sense. It kind of doesn't take itself too seriously, but it doesn't feel completely stupid either. I think it's got a really nice balance. There's some really good action sequences, there's some really good fight sequences, there's some really cool tense moments. A few plot twists I didn't quite see happening at first. When you look back, it's somewhat obvious when you're watching it. If you're watching it a second time, I'm sure, but on the first viewing, it didn't. The twists weren't jumping out to me as to what they were going to be. Could tell the twists were going to be there, but couldn't work out where they were going. I really enjoyed my time with this one. Really enjoyed my time watching it last night. The only thing I thought when watching it that kind of felt like a negative at first, but as the film went on, I decided, actually, no, I'm pleased with this. It felt long at first, but I'm kind of glad it did, because I'd never felt bored at the same time. It was just like, this has been going on a while, but I'm okay with this. Give me more of it. It's fine, sort of thing.
It kind of feels like what James Bond should have become. Not as outlandish, because that's not what James Bond is, but this sort of tone and this sort of direction. And I feel like they try to make James Bond too serious.
Yeah.
as a overcorrection from Pierce Brosnan.
Yes.
Not him personally, but those movies.
Yeah.
But you'll be pleased to know this is kind of the film that finds its footing.
Good.
So it kind of sets the standard going forward, I think. And they're kind of the only ones that are truly properly connected throughout the view as well.
Word for word.
Verbatim. I typed found its footing before he said, yeah, fair enough. And also Evening Rich. Yeah, no, I agree. I really like this movie. I think probably on rewatchings, I might slightly prefer 3.
Okay.
But I really like this movie.
Do you know why? What?
I just think this one in particular, while it is really good, specifically for a rewatch as opposed to the quality of the movie on its own, this one's a lot slower.
Yeah, it is slower paced, yeah.
So that kind of, when you know where that's going, that it drags more.
I can imagine that. It's like I was saying about the twists weren't jumping out to me, but once you know where those twists are going, I imagine a second watch of that is quite, okay, come on, get to it.
Yeah, so I think this is probably, on first watches, I would probably have preferred this one, and I probably did at the time. But on a rewatch, I think I enjoyed rewatching 3 more. That's it. Yeah, I love this movie. There's so many elements to it that are really fucking cool. Obviously, we got the return of characters.
I'm sorry. Has Hannah just tried to reply in French badly?
Oui. Possibly. I don't really have much else to say without spoiling it. So let's go into the spoiler territory.
Spoilers it is.
Obviously, I love the fact that we got Simon Pegg back.
We're being terrorized. Kari has learned to tickle. She keeps shouting tickle and poking us. Oh.
Oh no. Oh no. But yeah, I love the fact that we got Simon Pegg. I think the addition of Jeremy Renner was good.
As ridiculous as it sounds, it's one of my favourite things about this film. Jeremy Renner's presence.
Oh, really?
I really like Jeremy Renner.
I think he's a good actor. I don't quite understand. It's a very 50-50 world out there when it comes to Jeremy Renner.
It is.
I think that's largely because Hawkeye.
I enjoy him. Everything I have seen him in, I enjoy watching him. Even the shit Bourne film, I enjoyed watching him. I just find him very entertaining. He's real good at the action stuff. He's very, very good at it.
He looks weirdly both really old and really young in this movie at the same time. He does, and I think that's an impressive skill worth noting. Yep.
But yeah, he's really good at the action stuff. I think he's really good with comedy and comic timing, and even if it's a similar kind of comic thing he has in all his films, he's good at it. It's funny. I just enjoy Jeremy Renner. He brings a smile to my face. So I didn't know he was in this film. So when he piped up, I was like, oh, Renner's in this. And obviously it made out at first that he was kind of a non-character because he's just in that car and like, oh, this is an analyst. And I was like, oh, is this one
for the time as well? This is pre-Avengers.
So I was thinking, I was like, is this one of his earlier roles? I was thinking, I just didn't know.
I mean, he has been around for a lot longer, but he didn't really he had won an Oscar long before this and everything as well. So, but this was before everything kind of took off
for him.
Yeah. It was this was the kind of one of the stepping stones. It was like Hurt Locker, this, and then Avengers the year later. Right, that was kind of just...
so I remember thinking when it was just stuff in the car, I was like, I kind of hope he pulls into being more of a character, and he did. And I really...
pretty immediately afterwards.
Yeah. But I loved that. I really, really enjoyed him in it, and I think his dynamic with the team, but particularly with Tom Cruise, was really good as well, because you've got two genuinely really good action stars sharing screen together, and sometimes that can get really hard to get right, giving them each enough screen time, each enough of their own presence, their own skills, and giving them both the chance to shine can be very difficult. I think this film nailed it, and they play off each other really well as well.
No, absolutely, and they kind of... Sometimes this can feel a bit like, what? Okay. And then sometimes it works. And I think in this film it worked. And his reason not his reason for being there, but they gave him a reason to be in the film.
Yeah.
And like a way that connects to Ethan in a way with obviously the whole mission of protecting his Wi-Fi.
Yep.
And I don't mean Wi-Fi, although that is all important. Protect your Wi-Fi.
Arguably more devastating if that had gone wrong.
I agree. When I got home today, everything was unplugged.
I got a phone call earlier from Camilla saying that we got to have a smart meter fitted soon, and we're trying to arrange a day when they'd come and do it. And we agreed a day where I was off, and then we agreed it. She's like, "Cool, I'll book it in. Just so you know, they'll have to turn the electricity off for 4 hours." Okay, bye. I was like, "Hold up, you need to give me this information before."
Yeah.
You know, I've now my Tuesday off. I've got 4 hours without electricity. What am I gonna do? Sit. Oh, that sounds alright, actually. That sounds horrible.
No, I had a similar thing. So this Thursday, obviously I'm off, but I say obviously as if the world knows that. But
Yeah, your rotor is just published on Google. Do you know that?
but yeah, they were just like, oh yeah, we're having a plasterer in, and they're plastering the area where the router is plugged in, and they're like, it'll be unplugged all day. I was like, the fuck it will. This isn't 4 hours. This was from 8:30 a.m. till probably about 5 or 6.
At that point, what's the point in owning a house?
What it was like, is having plasterboard on the wall worth it? And the answer is no. To the point where I complained so much that they moved it to today.
That's how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, you may as well just live in a bin.
Exactly. Speaking of, my Stitch Fix thing arrived, open, and in the bin.
Sorry, you're what?
You know my Stitch Fix, well, they send my clothes to me in the mail.
Yes.
Yeah, they delivered it, but they delivered it open, and their hiding place was in the bin.
Perfect.
They received words.
Fair enough.
I was like, A, fucking open. B, open in the fucking bin. I haven't touched the clothes, but I imagine there's at least 400 flies in there. Why on earth would you think to put it in the bin?
Lots of delivery companies do that. They just leave things in the bin.
I think they should all be shot. If you leave something in the bin, bang.
The other risk there is a bin man comes.
Yes! Not every delivery person knows the local bin schedule. What if you go, oh, there's a bin here, I'll put it there. Do you not think that that's the reason the bin was there, coming to collect? But if that happened to me, I would have been charged for all of those clothes just because some local binman would decided to do their job. Ridiculous. The clothes subscription thing, how is that? It's pretty good. I get most of my clothes from there now.
Other than the bin clothes.
Other than the bin clothes, I don't plan on wearing those. I plan on sending those back and be like, try again. But that's not that company specifically. That is whoever delivers them. I'm never there, so I don't know.
It sounds like a Hermes job.
That does sound like a Hermes job, doesn't it? Because it rhymes with herpes, so it's bad.
Mission Impossible.
Anyway, Mission Impossible. Yeah, what the fuck? That was a weird moment. I just had a complete brain shutdown. I was like, I'm just sat here. It's fine. I'm chilling. Anyway, so we had Jeremy Renner. We enjoyed Jeremy Renner. I also enjoy Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg's very good anyway.
He is.
I think he shines in this role too. It's kind of a Q role, for lack of a better term, because that term has been kind of just colloquialized.
Guy
now.
in the chair, if you want to use a
Guy
Marvel
in the
term.
chair, yes. But he's very good at the guy in the chair, and I like in this one he was guy in the chair in the field.
Yes, he was guy in chair, but the chair was portable.
Yes.
The chair had wheels.
I'm
sorry, bear with me. I decided to wear a jumper in here. That was fucking stupid. Carry on.
Are you going to do the one arm thing?
Yes. No, I'm not going to do the one arm thing. That would just take my top off with me.
Okay. Well, it would have been cool, but alright, it's fine.
Not getting naked. Yet.
Wrong platform. Find us on my free cams later. He's really good in it, and I liked seeing him in the field, and how because Simon Pegg is a very good actor, and we've mentioned it when we spoke about the Cornetto trilogy. He's very good at playing a hard-edged, serious role. When there's more serious stuff he has to do with Sergeant Angel.
Yeah.
I had to really think whether or not it was Angle or Angel for a second.
More than Angle.
Another tangent. At work, I have a live chat group at work with all the rest of our web team staff. And every single day, pretty much since I've started on that, I have greeted the team with morning Angle. Just waiting to be how long it'd be before anyone responded to my Hot Fuzz reference.
Yes.
Bearing in mind I've been doing that now since the beginning of January, end of December. It was only like 2 weeks ago where someone finally replied with a Hot Fuzz gif. And I was like, thank you for someone finally acknowledging this. I will now never send this message again. Anyway, side note. In that film, he's very good at those kind of more serious, for lack of a better term, with Hot Fuzz, but almost action sequences. He's very good at it, and he's very good in this as well. So Simon Pegg's a great casting choice for this film.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Then there was the other one. Move on.
Do you mean the girl that was with them?
Yes. Nothing to say.
She was fine.
She was fine.
Her role was what it needed to be.
Yeah. I just feel that she very much just showed it. She felt like the director felt like there needed to be a woman, as opposed to this is the team we would like. Because everyone outshines her in every way, acting-wise. And not through lack of acting talent, I don't mean that. Just this role was clearly just written to have a woman.
Yeah, the role isn't given that much compared to the other ones. She does have some moments though, like her fight scene in the hotel where she kicks that girl out of the window was good. I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed that she had a motivation behind what she was doing as well, which I enjoyed. She did have a reason as to why she wanted to push forward and deal with this, as opposed to just go along with everything. It was she had her own motivations to push through and complete.
It was
this
personal.
mission. And I liked that she just kicked the girl out the window, personally. But it was like, we need to keep her alive. I was like, do you? Do you need to keep her? I don't see why you need to keep her alive. Just get rid of her. It's fine. Dispose of.
She did quite efficiently, I think.
She did.
She was roundhouse kicked, or backwards kicked out of the tallest building in the world at the time. Is it still a tall building? That building. Burj Khalifa? You've sunk. Is it the Mia Khalifa building?
No, that...
I think we have a broken chair.
This sequence...
Fucking awesome.
Real good.
Real good.
Real good.
Real good.
Really, really liked it. At first, I was just kind of like, okay, you're going to make him climb up a building, whatever. And I really liked what they didn't do, the easy thing of him just going, yeah, all right, cool, no problem, I'll climb up a building. He was very much like, what? And I really, really liked that was the route they went down. And obviously, I think it was really well shot. It looked fantastic.
That's what happens when you actually put Tom Cruise on the outside of the Wiz Khalifa.
Thank you.
How many other Khalifas can we think of? I've done Wiz and Mia now.
They're not the only two.
They might be. Google more for me, please. I'm thinking.
So that was cool. But then they did more to it than just he's going to successfully climb up the building, and
it all goes Pete Tong
in every way it possibly could. Like, I even liked that they didn't do a very simple cut the hole in the glass. Boop. That wasn't going to plan either. I think that was really good. It added a genuine amount of risk, and it did feel like there's a little bit of a not sure how he's actually going to deal with this scenario, especially when he had to get out.
The line's long enough. No shit.
Yeah, it's really. I thought it was very good. I think the film did a lot of really good stuff like that, where it put Tom Cruise in particular in situations where, despite the fact we know that Ethan Hunt is going to do pretty much everything, as we've seen it over the past 3 films, the situations they put him in, and they put them in these situations in such a way that in many cases there was kind of like, I don't see how he's going to do this. Like, he's going to have to pull something out to do so, and he does, and that's what makes
That's what's cool.
That's why it's cool. Exactly, because it's kind of like a MacGyver sort of thing.
On the fly problem solving, and it's just like, it's really fucking good. Like the fact that even though he did that cool swing, even that down to that last swing, it went fucking wrong because he just twatted the upper floor with his entire face.
Ouch.
Yes, and then almost didn't make it.
Yeah.
And then was just magically caught by Hawkeye and
Jeremy Renner. Best thing to happen to this movie.
What's her name?
The mask machine broke, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Simon
reminds
Pegg
me.
really wanted to wear a mask.
Hannah, mask rip-off tally, if you please. I only counted one.
I think it is one. And it's the bad guy.
Yeah.
I think it is the one for this movie. I think they're letting us down on the mask front, I think. Slightly. Which is very disappointing.
That's okay. It's fine. You haven't got to have the masks all the time. Torn on this one. Just one. Yeah.
One from the bad guy. Yeah, so... no, I think that's really cool. Obviously, just catching him by his literal fucking trousers. Good thing he got trousers that fit, because if they were slightly too big, not only would he fall to his death, but he'd fall to his death in his tighty whities. That would be very embarrassing for all involved.
Absolutely.
I don't know who I am as a person.
But sadly, I do.
But then on top of that, you had the fucking sandstorm.
Sandstorm was cool.
The glove not working.
Glove not working. Yeah. That whole mission they had to do then as well, they also didn't go to plan, and they had to work out on the fly of them. Hey Faisal, hello. Yeah, they had to work that out on the fly as well, grabbing the whole diamond trade off and getting the codes. So much of that was also literally, we don't know how this is going to work. Our plan isn't working because the masks don't have. Let's just hope they've not met. And the fact that they're all on comms and listening to each other, it's a simple thing like the fact that the actual assassin says, "Which one of you is so and so?"
Yeah.
Which then gives the other girl
the all clear, the go
to
ahead.
say the same line.
Yeah.
Really clever. Really, really liked that.
No, absolutely. I don't think there was either a proper infiltration espionage sequence or an action sequence. I don't think there was any that was dull or missed the mark at all. Like immediately following the that sequence, you had the chase through the sandstorm.
Yep.
You had the shot of him literally running away from it and it just catching up and just overtaking him completely. It was very convenient that as soon as it was over, the sand dissipated.
Yes.
It just went, okay, team, they're done. And disperse.
That's what happens in movies. It's fine.
It was fine. I'd never noticed that before. I was just, as soon as the truck pulled away and it like, shit, we've lost. I was like, there was literally no sand anymore. But no, I love that whole chase of like, can't fucking see anything. Tracker, oh shit, dodge, hit by car. All of that was great. I think the one thing I will find was like unnecessary to this movie in every way was that random Russian police officer.
Yeah.
Who seemed to have jurisdiction in Dubai.
He seems to have jurisdiction everywhere. It seems to be just basically him. And like,
I felt it added nothing.
He was very adamant on this being essentially Russia's most wanted terrorist. And it seemed weird. It was like, I feel like you wouldn't just be sending one man off to find.
Obviously, he had a small team with him, but small being the operative word, 1 or 2 people at any given point. And then and that was only like once or twice, because then every other shot he was just on his own. Did they say he was like KGB or anything?
I don't think they ever said where he was from. And he's also very just kind of like, by the end, just accept him of like, oh, you are on our team. Okay, cool. Like,
that's because they set off the off-screen shit.
Yeah. It just felt very like, meh.
Yeah, no, it just felt utterly unnecessary. And if he is just a police officer, what did he think would happen if he caught Ethan Hunt in Dubai? Nothing. You would go to prison for becoming a vigilante in the Middle East. That's technically what's happened. Like, it doesn't matter. He's out of Russia. You fucked it.
Yeah.
Like, very bizarre. And I just felt it added nothing to the movie, and it would take nothing away from the movie if you removed it.
I think they were trying to give you because of the main bad guy or antagonist wasn't present. They were always behind him, just trying to chase him and work out who he even was, really, and what he was doing, let alone where he was.
For sure, so they were giving you someone as an imminent threat. But the fact that they were always behind him was so much more interesting anyway.
Yeah.
So even if you didn't have that, I think, if anything, it would have been able to tighten up the runtime a little bit and made it better.
I think you're probably right.
This scene where he first shows up, where Ethan's in the hospital and he escapes from it, fine.
Well, it gives Ethan the reason to escape from the hospital as well.
For sure. Well, I imagine he would do that anyway.
Absolutely.
But it gives him a reason to then get up and go then.
Yeah.
Then and there. But then as soon as he leaves Russia, he's unimportant and irrelevant, and it seems like no one put any thought into the fact that this is insane. Like, if you commit a crime and then go to France, the police can't follow you. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The French police can catch you and send you the fuck back. But you can't follow them. It doesn't work like that. So I've always found that a bit weird and just unnecessary and just pointless. But then you have the fucking heist, essentially,
in the Kremlin.
The end. No. Oh, well, in the Kremlin as well. There's two. There's the Kremlin, but that's not the one I was talking about.
This film has a lot of the Mission Impossible style heists. I know that sounds stupid because we're talking about Mission Impossible, but
the last two haven't. So
Faisal said these movies are so good, even with small plot holes, with the Scientology magic keeps you entertaining.
From our neck of the magic from East Grinstead, the East Grinstead magic.
Indeed. Which one of these heists did you want to talk about?
Let's do Kremlin. It's first in the movie, as it makes sense to pop it up.
This sequence, for me, was a really good example of how to make an interesting spy heist sequence for a number of reasons. It had some cool gadgets that they interacted with more in a way than just going, there you go, gadget.
No, they use them.
They
properly,
use it and
they're all. I've always found to completely cut you up. Gadgets in spy movies get less and less. They do often have sausages. They get less and less feasible.
Yeah.
Whereas these, while probably not necessarily possible, are completely feasible.
There's something that you can kind of wrap your head around the idea of existing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like the big screen. The big screen is...
You can see the logic in it, right?
It's a camera that just has a screen. Yeah. So don't stand in front of the camera, in front of the camera, because otherwise you'll just have a giant Simon Pegg face in the hallway.
So funny. Simon Pegg in this sequence is so funny. The bit where they're talking to the guard, who because it's before they've got their ID on the system. Oh, I can't remember what he says to him. He says so to a Russian, like, you're going to regret this or something like that. It's so fucking funny.
It's so good. And then that just device that just throws the sound toward that. See, that I don't know how it works. But
if I had one of those, the fun I'd have with that.
Oh, for sure. For sure. You
walking
just do it all
around
the time.
Street. More of a sound, isn't it?
It's like dripping water.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just, whenever I'm inside anywhere, I do it all the time. I would do it all the time. Just.
Oh, dear.
Drip. Everyone would be like, what the fuck is going on? But no, that was great fun. And then, obviously, shit goes sideways. Very quickly in the Kremlin, you have the main villain, not yet revealed as the main villain, walking by with the nuclear football. It was the nuclear football he took from there, wasn't it? Was it?
Something like that.
I know they don't always call it a football, but the briefcase thing, and then very much blew the shit out of the Kremlin.
Very much so.
Very much blew that would be somewhat international news if that were to occur. In what might be the worst implementation of special effects in modern cinema.
Yes, I did think that when watching it. That looks remarkably poor.
It's the weird thing is though so obviously the camera quality of what was actually being filmed, so essentially just Tom Cruise, fine. The quality of like the CGI quality of the creation of the explosion looked good. It was just really badly composited.
Yeah.
It was really odd.
Yeah.
I'm like, both of these elements separately look great. You've just what?
They didn't. The set extension wasn't like lined up properly, so it didn't comp together well. It just looked slightly off.
Now I assume time, which is usually how you end up with bad effects. Time. But obviously you can't actually blow up the Kremlin for a movie.
Why not?
It's a shame. It's a shame. Imagine how many times they'd have to rebuild the White House. That seems to always be
every couple of years.
Movies, yeah.
They seem to just keep making films about that.
About blowing up the White House. Yeah. But I would like to, and they make it like this big national event. I can guarantee anyone outside Washington, let alone the rest of the world, that would be like, is Gogglebox on? Like, don't care. But anyway, the other heist towards the very end.
Faisal, you have like some form of special effects knowledge and you're a graphic-y guy. Can you just decipher why it doesn't look quite right? What do you think it might be that's wrong with it?
While you're doing that, we won't sit here in silence. We'll talk about the heist in Mumbai as well, because I think this was one of Jeremy Renner's time to shine throughout the movie.
Yes.
Throughout the movie. The
magnet suit.
The magnet suit, for one.
The bit with him, and this is what I mean, that these characters... This is absolutely where the film finds its footing for a number of reasons. Because you've brought up talking about characters, and you asked me a lot about Luther in the previous films and stuff like that. And I know we'll get to this properly, but they all work and bounce off each other so well. Again, the point where Benji is explaining to him, it's like, what you have to do? You jump down there, and I'm going to catch you. He's like, you have to jump, and you're going to catch me. He's like, yeah, with magnets, I'm going to catch you. And it just kept going and kept going. So funny. And when he's like,
I wouldn't be worried about it's the heat you should worry about.
Like,
well, and then there's that.
And the heat, right. Well, it's a big view. Turn the fan off. It's going to get hot. Right.
So I'm jumping into an oven. Yeah, pretty much.
But I'll catch you. It's so good. I liked all of that. And then how they kept that going even during the mission as well. Like, it's fine. I'll explain this. Like, very, very good.
So, you sure this is going to work? Pretty sure.
Faisal's got back to us here. Soft smoke with no shadows. It looks like a Blender simulation. No smoke and debris. Just the main poofy part, not the smoke and debris around the whole area like it would in real life.
That's fair.
Yeah, probably makes sense.
That's fair.
Thank you, Faisal.
The more you know.
Indeed.
The more you know. But I really like this because I feel, as much as I kind of joked on it earlier, it also gives... I actually can't remember her name.
I'll IMDb it.
Yes, but...
Can we do a VMX React episode?
I mean, very much stealing a show from a different channel there,
Also,
but I'm more than game.
I'd have zero input on that. I'm just going, yep.
See, I've watched so much of the other show, I could probably do it.
Her name is Paula Patton. Her character's name is Jane.
Did they ever call her Jane? They must have done, but this sequences both Jeremy Renner and Jane's time to shine, I think, with her basically just completely conning the shit out of that guy and then fucking him up.
That guy was a schmuck.
Oh, yes, absolutely. An absolute schmuck. But...
Faisal says, side note, but did you see that Dwayne Johnson movie called Skyscraper where The Rock has a prosthetic leg he can take off pretty easily, yet he hangs off the side of a damn skyscraper by his fake foot at the climax of the film and it holds his whole ass body weight? I ranted about that film for weeks after. I've not seen that, but that sounds ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, I have seen it. It is ridiculous. And also there's a shot, you'll probably know it well, Faisal, because it's in the trailers and everything as well, where he jumps off a crane. And like,
I know the shot because I remember seeing that
into the building, and there were so many people that just did the thing of right. We'll ignore the fact he has one leg. Let's do what we think someone who weighs as much as The Rock. Let's work out their jump trajectory. Dead. Now let's add in the fact that he has one leg. Very dead. It's just such nonsense. Weird words were censored in that message. Really?
They're not for us. That's odd.
Yeah, not for us. What words were censored? There's nothing rude about that message. It's a dope Die Hard style movie, but it's dumb as shit. Yeah, and I feel Faisal agrees with what I've just said. What words were censored? Anyway, I'm intrigued. Anyway, magnet suit with magnet bot.
A little bit less ridiculous.
Weirdly, yes. Well, they wouldn't be censored for you, Faisal. You wrote it. Anyway, carry on.
Just censored in his head.
I love the whole just floating in the little robot wars flathead type deal. Just and it says the words Johnson, pretty, damn, climax, and ass. They're censored on my phone, not on my TV. But Johnson! Johnson means pee-pee in America. That's hilarious. Anyway, you have the robot driving along. I feel like I'm never going to get this point out. It's just really fucking cool.
Never going to get your Johnson out.
Exactly. The computer is obviously very hot. You have the sweat dripping off of him. Indicates heat, but also it boils the second it fucking touches it. I feel in real life he would be dead just from that.
The heat from that would be cooking you, yeah.
Yeah, you'd be dead. If your sweat has the ability to boil the second it touches it, corpse.
I did like, again, it was just a pattern in this film, but I liked it. All these sequences, again, had things not going quite right, and them having to work with it. Because, again, throughout that, he's being bashed into it, and it's, I think it's a bit when the bot drops down a little ramp.
And just smashes him
down.
into the floor.
It's like, up, and then
Smash.
It's really fucking funny.
It's really good. And that on the way back as well, where it just kind of steers him into a wall. The fan turns on, obviously, when it's not supposed to, and then it can't blow him high enough. So he does that cool moment, which could have gone very wrong.
Good at him.
And then the bot gets sucked up into the fan and just shoots shards of Robobot.
Robobot. Oh, the chair's sunk again.
What's the time? 37:30.
Let's be done for a minute.
Shoots shard of robot at our poor Jeremy. It's okay, son. I really like this movie. Oh, I did say that all the gadgets were feasible, but the BMW did have a holographic windscreen. We're gonna need new chairs, aren't we? We need a new chair, don't we?
We're good for another few minutes.
It only ever happens when you sit in it, though. It's
I
never
don't
done
think
it
I
to
can
me.
sit.
Yeah, I don't think you can sit either. So I don't think the chair's broken either. I just think you have the inability to seat.
One sequence in particular I wanted to talk about before going on to other bits and bobs about this movie was I really liked the way the film opened. So we spoke about the last film opening with a use of in medias res.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed that because it put you in a situation with the main character that we already knew, which without context, and it made it interesting. Mm-hmm. This did a similar thing without the use of in medias res. It took that main character that we now know from 3 films and put him into a situation that we didn't have context for. And that whole opening sequence of him being in the prison and being broken out of the prison and him going against the breakout and going, I'm going to do this my way, was such an interesting way of opening a sequel, I think. Mm-hmm. I don't think it would have worked if it was the first film.
No, of course.
Because you would have been going, I don't know.
You don't know who that is. You don't know, and you don't know anything.
Yeah.
It obviously doesn't work.
You knew enough with this to go, right, okay, so this woman is clearly part of the IMF. I can work that out because she's with Benji and they're here to get Ethan. But why is he in prison? What prison is he in? And what is he doing? Why isn't he? And it was such an interesting opening sequence that it from the get-go, it makes that film feel like something we need to have.
Yep.
Because I feel like with a lot of films and a lot of these series of films where there's a million fucking sequels, as often when they announce a new one, you go, oh, another one. Do we need another one? Mm-hmm. When you have then this film and it does something like this, I feel like that.
So I don't forget.
I've already done that.
Oh, sorry. Ignore me.
I feel like that gives you a reason as to a reason to have this sequel, because it's like, okay, something's interesting, something's happening. I want to know what it is, and that I've been really. I think this series has been really good with that going through, and this was just another good example of it. So I wanted to bring that up because it didn't do it in the same way it did with the previous ones as well. It's been fresh.
No, it's not over. It's taking the very basic principle of what it did last time and finding a new way to do it in this one. And I agree. I don't think you could have opened the film much better. They did open the film with the guy from Lost, but the main...
The sequence.
The first time you see Ethan Hunt, anyway, at the very least. But even then, they opened it with that guy. You still have... It's kind of a bit different because you don't know who the characters are, but you don't have any context for it either. You're like, ooh, what is occurring? Yeah. What is this tiny pill-sized massive airbag situation? Because I don't know why, but I feel that could come in handy in life. You could take a lot of shortcuts, I feel, if you had a supply of those.
Never taken a shortcut before.
But, like, just... You're on the upper level of something and you can't be asked to take the stairs. Just leap over and... It's very handy. But, yeah, so that going into the prison sequence I really liked as the opening for the
reason
for the
that
film.
Stands out to me as well is when you take a contrast of essentially one of this film's biggest competitors, which is James Bond. All of those films open in essentially the same way.
Yep.
Nearly every single one of those films just opens with Bond doing a mission.
Punching someone.
Just a big action sequence from a mission. And it's very clear Bond's doing a mission to get someone. It's always he's to get someone or he's to get something. And it's always very clear what's going on. You're never in a scenario of going, oh, what is afoot? It's always, yep, Bond's doing murder.
That is afoot.
It's the thing at the end of your leg, yeah. It's always Bond's doing murder. This is, although it has an element of Tom Cruise doing Tom Cruise, I'll get to that in a minute.
Me too.
Because it's not just the same scenario, because it's not just, oh, Tom Cruise or Ethan Hunt is doing a murder or Ethan Hunt is getting something. It creates interest. Hannah says, unpopular opinion, I prefer Mission Impossible to Bond.
Same.
Yeah, so far I agree. I've never, ever been a huge Bond fan. I've not seen a lot of the older ones. Basically, I've seen the Pierce Brosnan movies and I've seen the Daniel Craig movies.
Oh, okay. You have missed some of the best ones, but then it's fair.
And also, the Daniel Craig movies are very different.
They are,
and they're good action films, but they're not fantastic. I don't think. No. I don't think they're outstanding. They're fine.
Here's the thing, though.
Well, I guess they're fantastic for what they are. Because what they are is not something that makes me overly excited.
They're not fantastic for what they are, though. That's the problem. Like, Casino Royale was really good when it came out, but it hasn't really aged that well.
It's actually my least favourite of the Daniel Craig films.
Really? Okay, so that's the unpopular opinion.
Specifically, because that fucking poker game goes on for so long.
Yeah, but that's kind of what Casino Royale is.
I know, it's just uninteresting to watch for me. We'll get to this soon, because we will do the Bond film soon, I'm sure.
Because, again, similar to the very, very minor problem I had with this, is a much more major problem with Casino Royale. Is it makes rewatches impossible.
Yes, yeah.
I didn't like Quantum of Solace. Quantum of Solace isn't very good. And then Skyfall's great. Spectre's fine.
Yeah.
And then I assume we're going to get into the fine territory of With No Time to Die. Obviously, we'll see it. We'll do an Admit 1 on it. We won't do the Craig movies before No Time to Die because we don't have time.
We're going to look for a schedule later.
Exactly. We'll figure all that out. Hannah says I don't care for Daniel Craig as Bond particularly. See, I disagree. I won't go too much into it because, as I say, we're doing this thing. So I disagree. I think Daniel Craig is the best part about those movies. It's just I don't think everything else is particularly great. Excluding Skyfall, because I think that is genuinely...
Skyfall's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a genuinely almost exceptional movie. But so as a whole, that's still 3 out of 4. 1 out of 4. The exact opposite of what I meant. And then the others are just fine. Yeah. But, yeah, so not very unpopular opinion, Hannah, because I agree, Mission Impossible is better.
Indeed.
Anyway, so we've done all the character stuff. We kind of mixed that in, so we won't do a separate character for a section for characters. We've kind of talked about all the main sequences, really, haven't we?
Yes. Basically, in short,
it's a really good film.
Very good film. I'm very, very glad that you've made me watch these.
Hannah says there's a nice little Pixar Easter egg in this Mission Impossible film, by the way. So I knew it was directed by Brad Bird, who directed the Incredibles movies. I didn't know there was an Easter egg. Pray tell, do tell. I want to know. Let's share it with the world. Share it with the world.
Why have I not missed this? Why have I missed this? It's got to be something to do with Edna Mold and capes or something, or...
It'd definitely be Incredibles related, because they're the ones he did. But,
yeah.
Well, the first Incredibles, because obviously the second one hadn't come out yet, but... I feel we should find something else to talk about while we wait.
Oh, should we not just wait in anticipation for a reviewer to respond? I see. Well, in short, as I say, like, I really enjoying watching these movies through, and I did have a little look on IMDb, and I've seen that Jeremy Renner is in the next one.
He is,
which I'm very happy about. He doesn't appear to be in 7, which I'm disappointed about. But
7
is the one they're making at the moment, is it not?
Oh, sorry. So yeah, my one problem with Mission Impossible is they don't seem to pick a crew and stick with it.
It's probably because they just can't keep getting the actors to sign on. It's probably what it is.
Just make them sign on for more than one.
No, yeah, I guess there is that.
Jeremy Renner's hardly adverse to that.
No. Yes.
Unless something happened on the set of 5, I don't know. But
are we going to do that today, by the way?
What? Do what today?
That segment with that trailer.
I was going to save it for Saturday.
I'll rewrite this back down.
Hannah says when he's ringing up for extraction, the code is Alpha 113, which is A113, which is in every Pixar movie. It's also not just in Pixar movies. It is a movie Easter egg. It's not just Pixar Easter egg. It is in every Pixar movie, but it's also in Marvel movies. It is in movies all over the place, because A113 is a room where a load of people... It was like a school classroom, wasn't it?
The room number at university for the drawing class for the Pixar guys took.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. They live so long between the Mission Impossible films, it's probably tough getting... Yeah, no, the fact that they leave so long... I mean, 5 onwards they ramped up. So they had... So, obviously you had like 96, 2000, pretty big gap. Then 2006, then 2011, all really big gaps. 2015, pretty big gap. Then you get 2018... and then this movie, Mission Impossible 7, was meant to be out around now, or if not earlier, but obviously it's next year now because of fucking COVID, mate.
Turned it to an Aussie for a second.
But, yeah, it sucks. I would like people to keep coming back.
So far, though, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say, out of the first four, because I don't remember Fallout very well somehow.
It's probably because at the time you had no context for it.
Absolutely.
So you had no reason
I was only watching it because it was a 4K Blu-ray and I'd got a 4K Blu-ray player. So I was mainly just looking at the pretty. I wasn't really intaking what was happening. But so far, I'm going to rank these quick.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean... No, never mind. Ignore the I mean. I don't know why I said it. Carry on.
4's been my favourite. 3, 1, 2.
Yeah. That is the correct and only ranking.
I was going to say, I feel like it's the only way you can currently put these so far.
4, 3, 1, 2. I have my ranking in general.
But we'll get to that.
But we'll get to that when we get there.
Indeed.
But I would agree. 4, 3, 1, 2 is, I feel, the only way to rank these and not be a buffoon so far. This has been Admit One, your movie and TV podcast right here on Rabbit Hole Media. If you like what you're doing and what you're doing is watching us, you can follow us on Twitter at rabbithole_UK. You can subscribe to us on YouTube where you can see us anytime that you wish. You can follow us on Twitch at Rabbit Hole Media, and you can subscribe and follow on multiple different podcast services on around the internet.
Indeed.
And now you can follow us on Instagram at rabbitholemedia_UK, and you can follow us on TikTok at rabbitholemedia for all the behind-the-scenes tits and bits. You just called me a dickhead in mime, essentially. Is that what you just did?
Why not?
I mean, I appreciate the joke. I appreciate the joke. If you would like to support us, head to merch.rabbitholemedia.co.uk for a wide range of merchandise that will only get wider. And finally, if you are watching us live on Twitch and are an Amazon Prime member, you get one free Twitch Prime membership a month. Please find it within your heart to give that membership to us. It doesn't cost you a penny, but it goes a very long way, and it can help us bring you the shows that you love.
Hit September! Timber!
It is September, indeed. Thank you, Kristian. During the month of September, you get 20, maybe 50, maybe 75, maybe none % off of your subscriptions, while we still get the full cut. So, if you've considered, for first-time subscriptions, I should say. So, if you've considered subscribing but haven't taken the plunge yet, now is the perfect time. As you lose less pennies, we gain same pennies. All in all, a better penny ratio.
And then those pennies go for new lights, so that this looks better.
Indeed. Lights are what we want.
Because then we stop having this conversation every week. Someone's like, it looks dark this week. It looks light this. Because this, I messed with it today, and it looks awful.
It doesn't look great. Something's gone wrong here.
Yeah.
This looks fine.
Even this looks a little, like, you look a little bit overexposed. A bit of a shiny face.
I am remarkably pale.
And sweaty.
And, yes, right now I am.
Yeah.
Moister than an oyster. But make sure you tune back in at 8 p.m. this Saturday, where we'll be what?
Thursday. There's a thing on Thursday.
It's not Abbott one though.
Okay. Fair enough. I'll stop interrupting you. Carry on.
Fucking Christ. Make sure you tune in this Saturday, as we will be back for Admit 1, Kristian and myself, to talk about What If? Episode 6, immediately followed by our gaming podcast Press Start, where we will have a conversation. A specific conversation this week. We have things in mind. But also, as Kristian said, make sure you tune in on Thursday, as he will be streaming Deathloop for all your beautiful faces.
Indeed, I will.
And remember, from 8 p.m. again, and also remember to do your homework for next Tuesday, as we will be watching Mission Impossible Rogue Nation and talking about it right here on Admit 1 from 8 p.m. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for joining me. Thank you, Kristian, for joining me and gushing about this movie with me.
Hey, you're very welcome.
It's been a good fun. I've enjoyed this so far. More than What If. And until next time, we shall see you then.
Goodbye for now.